Hi there. So if you've clicked on this video, then you're probably curious what I would talk about using an action camera cage for vlogging. What? Well, a lot of people are doing this, and if you want to know why, well, keep watching because you're watching Blue Collar Guy. So today we're going to be talking about a specific action camera cage. This one is made by Telesin. Now Telesin sent this to me at no charge. This is an unsponsored video, meaning that they didn't pay for the production of this video. They just sent me this at no charge. So I'm going to be doing this video in a more scientific and unbiased manner because my subscribers want complete transparency and they want complete honesty. And it's important that I just give you the facts on this camera cage and not my personal opinion. So let's go to the downward shot and we're going to unbox this. Okay, so we're at the downward shot. I have my DJI Action 3 and my DJI Action 4 here. We're going to be using these to see if they both fit in this cage. They're in their designated cages that they have. These are the ones that come with the camera. So if you want to know which ones come with the camera, that would be these little guys right here. So let's get into, let's just open up this case. And I'm going to pull out this cage. And, okay. And this is what it looks like. And I'm going to grab a scale because we want to know how much it weighs. So if you're carrying something around, you definitely want to know how much it weighs. It weighs 52 grams. Okay. And we're going to take one of these cameras out of the cage. Now to take them out of their cage, you have to flip up on this little device here, and I believe it pops out through the front. Yeah, I believe I got that right. At least I hope I got that right. And their cage is 29 grams, so it is lighter. Now I must make a note that their cage is made out of plastic, which is, as you can see, kind of plasticky, and but it's a good quality plastic. It's decent. So, and it is lighter. So 29 grams, 53 grams. And if you were to weigh them both together with the camera, 178 grams with the Action 4, the Action 3 with the cage, standard cage is 179 grams, give or take. I don't know how accurate the scale would be, but that's what we got. And with the new cage, it'd be 201 and 200. So go figure on that one. So how does this cage work? Well, it's got a release here. It's also got a cold shoe mount here and a cold shoe mount here, and this one goes all the way through. And this one here has a stop on it. It also has a 1/4-20 on this side, and the cage is made out of, looks like aluminum as opposed to plastic. So it's a little bit more rigid, I guess, when you push on it. It's got a little release here. You pop this open, the camera cage opens, take your camera in, slides in, clicks in place, and you're caged up. Okay, if I pop in this, take it out, let's try it with the Action 3. There's the Action 3, and it clicks in too. So it fits both the Action 3 and the 4. And I've also got some ND filters. So we've got to see if the ND filters fit on the cage. I've got, let me see, I've got one here that I was using before. This, by the way, is a Telesin product as well. I bought this one with my own money. it fits on the Action 3 with the cage. And I'm just going to switch it out, put the Action 4 in there. So if you're curious on that, take out the 3, put in the 4. Now I've said that the Action 4 is better for vlogging because it has the wireless connection with the DJI Mic 2. And there's the filter on that. So if you look on this cage, there is a cutout to match the filter's circumference. If I use the one that come with it, you can also use the filter with that as well. Here is your standard cage. Put this one in through the front here. There. Put that one in, and your filter just kind of goes over top because it's recessed in more. All right, so that's what that looks like. And of course and those ones have the button there, and the Tellison one uses the original button that's on the camera. On this particular camera cage, it has the clips so that you can mount it vertically, but there is no 1/4-20 mount like there is on this one. Now on the bottom, it's identical. It matches, they're both the same on that one. On this side here, you've got the door for the charging, so you can access that. You can access that button. But to change your battery, you have to take it out of the cage. If you want to change your SD card, again, you have to take it out of the cage. Now, this one here also has these cold shoe mounts. This is a pass-through mount, and this is a lock mount. So you can put an external light on here. You can have one there. Also, if you wanted to have 2 lights, you could put one here. And then you could have a double light setup. Perhaps you want to have one on like a different kind of light. This is a softbox light, and this is like a fast, quick release magnetic mount light. Okay. Now the other thing too is if you wanted to hook up a microphone, you could put it on here, and then you could, let me just see here. So we got, you want to hook up a microphone, you can definitely put one on there too. So you can have 2 different mounting points on this one. And we're going to go to the website. I'm just going to set this all aside for now. Okay, so we're on the website, and this is the cage over here in the corner. And it is $25.99 on their website. They also make GoPro cages as well. And they'll probably make one for the new GoPro 13. And they also make cages and glass, you know, things to protect your lenses, that sort of thing. They also make silicone protective cases, so if you want to go that route. And they even have battery covers as well. This is their pricing. And they have what they call a rabbit cage. And they sell underwater cages and all kinds of other things like that too. But for this particular video, we're going to be focusing on their other cage. So let's just go back to me and take me off of there. When you're looking at other types of camera cages, I've noticed that they don't have 2 points, meaning that they'll have one on the top, but not one on the side. Or maybe they'll have one on the side, but not one on the top. I'm going to go to the Amazon website, and I'm going to look up some of the other ones to show you, because these guys have some competition. I think it's important that we see what the competition looks like, because as I said before, this is a scientific review. So if we're just going with the facts, we need to go with the facts. So, okay, so I'm in the corner, and this particular one is made by PGY Tech. It's $54.95, and as if you look at it, it has a cold shoe mount at the top, but not one on the side. It has a button on there. There you can mount a video light. You can mount it vertically for TikTok facing the other way, and I noticed that they left that out. They're using the existing mounts just like this one does, so they're not using anything of their own. It does have the quarter 20 mount on the side, just like the Telesin. And the only thing I've noticed that this one has that's a little bit different is it has its own button on the top, and I think that it also loads from the side. So this one is made by Small Rig, and just to go back to me again, Small Rig makes an action camera cage that a lot of people really like, and they've chosen that action camera cage. Some have gone to this particular cage over the Telesin camera cage. This is the Small Rig camera cage. Now again, it only has one cold shoe mount at the top, but it also has another like a quarter 20 mount at the top as well. It's using the same button as the DJI camera, and it loads from the back as opposed from the side. Now it has access to the battery door and the SD card, so you don't have to take out the camera to get access to that. They've also got a gap here in case you want to hook in the external microphone, like if you want to put a wired microphone on your camera. On the bottom of it, they have their own mounting points. So the only reason why I think that people have gone with that cage is because they want to have access to the battery door and the SD card without having to remove the camera. But there's kind of a problem with that, is that when I open this is not even in the cage. So let's do that. Let's go to the downward shot. I'm going to get rid of this scale, and let's go over the procedure on how to open this door. So this is your battery door and your SD card. Now as you can see, if you look on the edge of it, there's a bit of a recess here. So to get out this SD card, I've got to kind of push my fingernail in there, and then I click it out. Now if I have a cage around that, it's going to be more of a dig. You may even have to use a pair of tweezers to get in there. Having a cage around this is going to make that recess a little bit deeper. Now that might not be a problem for some people. They might have long fingernails. Maybe they can get that. Maybe they have smaller fingers than I do. But for me, taking it out, even when I have it out of the cage, I fight with these things to get out the SD cards and the batteries, and that's with it out of the cage completely. And mostly because I have big fingers. So if you have larger fingers or your dexterity isn't that great, you're going to end up taking it out of the cage anyway. Having that door isn't necessarily going to be beneficial. But in all fairness, that's a plus, having an extra door on the camera cage. Now from an engineering point, it's also a point of failure. When you have more hinges on something, there's more things to break. So in a plastic camera cage like this, every place where you see a rivet, every place where you see a seam, that's a point of failure. You drop it, that's where it's going to break. And a plastic one is obviously going to break a lot easier than a metal one. Does this particular camera cage have an advantage over some of those? Well, I don't have the ability to do a drop test, and I certainly can't afford to sacrifice $400 cameras to find out which cage is going to beat the drop test. But common sense would have it is that the more seams or joints you have on something, the more points of failure you also have on something. So whenever you add convenience to an accessory, you're also adding a point of failure onto something. And that's a scientific fact. It's not an opinion. It's just, that's just the way it is. You can Google that research and you'll see that I'm right on that. This particular camera cage is the only one with 2 mounting points for cold shoe. And that does have an advantage if you're using an action camera cage for vlogging. And I think they kind of known that, because when you're doing a TikTok video, you're going to be in this configuration. So you're going to have your microphone here and your light up here. And you could even put an additional light over here. So if you wanted to put another light down there, you could add another light down here. We're going to go to the downward shot and show you some different configurations. Okay, I set this camera aside. This is the Action 3. So if you were doing a TikTok video, this is what it would look like in the Tellison cage. And I think that they were sort of targeting people that do TikTok videos, because look at where the word is. It's printed as if you were doing a vertical mount. They put the writing this way. Now, why would they put the writing that way? Because these guys are targeting people that do TikTok videos. They know they're going to be putting a microphone here, and they're going to be putting a light up here. And that's pretty clever. So all of these cages have their own differences. And I'm just pointing out the differences on this one, because when you clicked on this video, I was talking about using an action camera cage for vlogging. And this particular one is set up much better than the standard cage that has no mounts at all for anything other than that accessory light. So on the standard cage, the only thing that it has is that additional mount on the side. So if you wanted to put this on there, you could put one of those. But look, I can put 2 lights and a microphone on this. You can't do that with any other type of cage. You can do it with on this. Now, this isn't an opinion. This is a fact. It's the only one with these 2 mounts. I'm just pointing out a fact on this camera cage over the other ones. What have we learned about this camera cage? Well, we've learned the following facts. I'm just going to stick with the facts. 1, it is better than a plastic cage, so more durable than a plastic cage. 2, it's easier to put your camera in and out of the cage than using the standard cage. 3, it has 2 cold shoe mounts. So if you're going to be rigging your camera up with microphones and additional lighting, and if you are using it for TikTok videos or vertical videos specifically, Instagram, that sort of thing, and you can tell, like I said, you can tell because look at the writing on the cage. It was designed for vertical mount. That's why I think a lot of people would buy this particular camera cage if they're using it for TikTok videos or if they're using it for Instagram, that sort of thing. Okay, so for those of you who do use a camera cage for extreme sports, I've got a little segue video for you, and you can also use this camera cage for that as well. And so take care, be safe at work, and I will see you at the next video. And thank you for all the new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, well then subscribe, because here at Blue Collar Guy, we do regular uploads and we talk about things that other people don't talk about, and we make sure that we're completely transparent and honest with our audience. So until then, see you later. Bye.